A little heavier on the front line, which is important. Oh, Sengun, what a slip pass to Christian Wood.
That right there was Alperen Sengun dropping a dime like that in just the 17th game of his NBA career. 2 years later, and Sengun is still dropping dimes that leave everyone scratching their head, but he's doing much more than just making ridiculous passes. Because 8 games into the NBA season, and the Houston Rockets have gone from the laughingstock of the NBA to a playoff contender, and the best player on that team is none other than Alperen Sengun. Just ask 12-year veteran Jonas Valanciunas what it's like trying to guard Alpi. Alpi sets the screen, Fred gets in the paint and kicks it out before Sengun pump fakes the 3, goes behind the back and throws it down. A couple of minutes later, with the Rockets really needing a bucket, this time Sengun gets the ball on the block. He casually goes to the Dirk Nowitzki one-legged shot, and it's cash. This right here is just a glimpse into the scoring versatility that Sengun has. And when I say it's just a glimpse, well, he's also capable of doing this.
Pick and roll with Sengun.
And the highlights are cool, but so far this season, Sengun has gone from averaging 15, 9 and 4 to now 19, 8 and 6 on significantly better efficiency. And even better, when he's on the floor, the Houston Rockets are a completely different team. I mean completely different. With Alpi on the floor, the Rockets are top 6 in offensive rating, defensive rating, and net rating. With him off the floor, well, you guys can see for yourselves, with the most notable difference being the offense going from 3rd to 30th. Now, just to put his individual numbers into perspective, right here are the numbers Nikola Jokic put up in year 3, and here are the numbers Domantas Sabonis put up last season, in which he made the All-Star team and was selected All-NBA. I'm just saying, if Houston keep winning, there's a very strong argument to be made. And while we're talking about Sabonis, a good sign of the level a young big man is at is how he fares against other elite bigs. And in their 2 matchups this year, Sengun embarrassed Sabonis. Let's not sugarcoat it. Like here where he has Sabonis at the 3-point line, crosses him up, drives into the chest, and drops it in. Or again where he starts at the 3-point line before patiently working into a post-up, waiting for the help to fly by before dropping it in. Those were just 2 of the numerous times where Sengun went at Sabonis and came out on top. And we might as well talk about his post-play while we're at it, because alongside the elite playmaking, he's one of the best post players in the NBA, ranking in the top 96th percentile and averaging nearly 1.4 points per possession on post-ups. And I already showed you a couple of examples, but his bag is incredibly deep. Just watch here as he has Wagner on the block. He initially lowers the shoulder before recognizing the help defender in Isaac, so he spins baseline before dream shaking into a one-legged Dirk Nowitzki fadeaway. That is a big man doing that. But what I really love about Sengun is he has the finesse and skill to make plays like that, but don't get it twisted. He's also still capable of backing you down all the way to the rim before using either hand to finish in a variety of ways, with his favorite being the hook over his shoulder that he pairs with a bevy of fakes to make it so difficult to block or even contest. And this is nothing new. Since he's entered the league, Alpi has been an absolute problem whenever he gets the ball in the post. It's just a matter of feeding him and then just watching him go to work. But he's much more than just a post-up player, because despite not being a high flyer, well, let's say he's not a lob threat, because his poster collection would suggest he can get off the floor enough. Despite not being a lob threat, he's been thriving in the pick and roll because of one major reason. The Houston Rockets went from having that guy as their point guard to Fred VanVleet, who is actively looking to get Sengun the ball on the move. Just watch this play where VanVleet has the ball at the 3-point line. Sengun isn't the immediate option, but Fred seeks him out, navigating around Jabari before drawing Collins out of position and slipping the pass into Alperen on the move for the lay. You also see the experience of an older point guard, like here where Brooks gives Fred the ball on the move. He could fire the 3, but recognizes Johnson flying over, so he up fakes, waits for Sengun to set the screen before making the perfect perfect pocket pass to Sengun, who knocks down the floater. And you've heard me say this a lot, but the numbers back this up as well, because he's averaging the second most points per game on pick and roll possessions, which is more than double what he was putting up last season on much improved efficiency. Not surprising when you have such a considerable upgrade at the point guard position. With all of this being said, if you don't believe my optimism about Alperen Sengun, that's understandable. But you know what makes Sengun a cut above so many other young players? Every player in the NBA knows just how good he is, and this was before he took the jump he has taken this season.
Sengun, he good, man.
I'm gonna go with Alperen Sengun. Beast.
He big
Beast.
dog.
Super high IQ player. Like, I love his game.
And then the most important tick of approval, the man who Alperen has idolized said this: "The man is talented. He can pass the ball, post up, has the touch, and is a good finisher around the rim. You can see different moves when he is playing. It might sound weird, but I think they should play through him more, because sometimes they seem too stagnant as a team." Well, Nicola, the Rockets got a serious coach and point guard, and all of a sudden, the offense is starting to move around their core piece, and shock horror, the offense is looking really good. Like here where Sengun sets the pick for Van Vliet. It ends up with Alpi getting the ball on a makeshift post-up, but he's able to look off Anthony before throwing it to Bullock for 3. And it's been the short pick and roll which has been particularly effective for the Rockets, because what are you really supposed to do? You have a guy in Van Vliet who is a good pull-up three-point shooter, so it's hard to play drop. And if you go to the level, he finds Sengun, and from there, well, he can score from any spot on the floor using floaters, mid-range jumpers, or attacking downhill. So naturally, you have to send help. Well, that's where he starts to dice you up. Not just making the obvious reads, but looking off defenders using deception to ensure that he's setting up his shooters or cutters to be wide open when they catch the ball. It's the same equation that makes the Denver Nuggets impossible to guard, and Houston are creating their own version of that. Now, don't think for a second that Alpi isn't still making passes that no one else in the league can make, bar Nikola Jokic and probably Luka Doncic. I mean, just look at the game against New Orleans, where he made 2 passes that weren't even assists that most NBA players would never dream of making their entire NBA career. And speaking of those kind of passes, look at this one, where Brooks throws it into Sengun, and without even taking control of it, he water polos the pass back to Brooks, recognizing the space in behind for the layup. I've seen players make tip passes and water polo passes, but I don't think I've ever seen one from that spot on the floor, and that shows something that you just can't teach. Now, what makes all of this improved responsibility even more impressive is the fact Sengun has actually decreased his turnover numbers, only averaging 2 a game despite being the focal point of one of the best offenses in the league. That's not going to draw headlines, but it's incredibly important. You know what else isn't going to draw headlines? His defense. Like it or not, the Rockets are a very good defense when he is on the floor, and what he might lack in shot blocking, he's doing his best to make up for with anticipation and active hands. Look no further than the 4th quarter against New Orleans. With 80 seconds left on the clock and New Orleans up 5, Zion tries to find Daniels. Alpi stretches out to deflect the ball, which gives the Rockets a chance to break before eventually getting it to Fred in the corner, who knocks down the 3, which was huge in the comeback victory. Now, if you did make it all the way to the end of the video, you might as well drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new for more content like this. Either way, have a nice day. Bye.